It's 8:30. Let's call the meeting to order. It's January 19th. Glad you're all here, even though it's a little cold. First item is to discuss and consider Gordon Flesh cloud phone system proposal.
Hey,
Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this chilly Monday.
Thanks for being here.
Of course. Well, virtually, not physically, but I appreciate that.
I suppose it's warmer that way.
What, like 60 miles north? No, not really. It's still pretty awful. So, but yeah, definitely appreciate the time to discuss the proposal I've put together after speaking with each office about their specific needs based around the phone system. So, have there been any specific changes, anything, expectations or anything like that? Or you want me to just kind of jump into the proposal this morning?
Have you really talked to every office?
Yes.
I've got the county engineer here.
Listen, did he get a hold of you finally?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm asking my admin if you discussed anything with her, because I haven't heard from you.
Yep. Melissa and I had a conversation in the office about what you guys need for phone porting over of the numbers, who uses what in each office. You didn't happen to be there that day, but I think she had a pretty good handle on it anyhow. I'll let her comment if she'd like. I see she's on the call.
She said that yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Please
Yep,
proceed.
of course. All right, so let me figure out, share my screen here. Oh, it does say the host isn't allowing sharing for this meeting. I don't know if we can turn that on. I can.
It's hard to get good help, Andrew, but we're trying.
Listen here.
She's the adultiest one here.
You might want to watch your words there, Lee. You don't want to mess up a good thing.
You're the host now.
All right. Let's share. I think I know what I'm doing here.
There we go.
Move some stuff out of the way. All right. Are we looking at a proposal from Gordon Flesh Company on the screen there? Are we looking at me still? Okay. Fantastic. Well, things are going swimmingly so far then. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, like I said, and I chatted with every office about the need, and they are vastly different across the offices. Seem like some folks are embracing the Microsoft Teams environment and utilizing that, others not so much. There's a mix of actual users that need, voicemail and the ability to do virtual communications. And in other places, they're just what we would call like a resource phone in a common space, like a boardroom or like the one in the lobby, for instance. So what Gordon Flesh has to offer is the Elevate cloud-based, voice over IP phone system, right? So this utilizes just your internet connection, can continue doing business with who you do business with for your internets. You would no longer have to pay for phone services or fax services in that regard, except for any type of alarm system for elevator, things of that nature. I believe that's something you have now and would have to have ongoing, correct?
Yeah, we have both the elevator and the alarm monitoring service.
Okay. So those would need to be maintained with the physical lines for now. But everything else outside of that could operate over the internet and the cloud-based system here. So again, the system as a whole, I'll just do like a quick recap. Offers a lot of things. Not only is it unlimited local and long distance, just phone calling, physical handsets, but in addition to that, it has a desktop application. So those who would like to use their phone through their computer can wear a headset, get headsets from us, use Bluetooth headphones, whatever you would like, and you can do your phone communications that way, as well as a mobile version. So you have access to a free application you could download to a personal or work phone and log into your actual desk phone that way and be able to communicate on the go. Those that would like to
Hey,
utilize that.
Andrew?
Yep, go ahead, Lee.
Um, um, I'm not exactly sure how to ask this, but
Fire away.
well, I'm not sure. I gotta make sure first off, I'm understanding what you're saying when we talk about access from our phone, like you're talking about like our cell phone and stuff, right?
Right. So I use this phone system on my personal cell phone, right? I have a phone number for my personal cell. I also have a work direct dial that rings directly to this cell phone through the Elevate application. And it's very easy to tell which of those is ringing. It will say Elevate Audio across the top. The screen will be a different color, so on and so forth. You would know that you're getting a business call at that point. Now, in no way is this required for anyone to use, but if you had folks, maybe you paid for a work cell phone for, they could have this application on their personal phone. You wouldn't have to have those additional lines. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So it would be a choice for the individual to have it on their phone, is that right?
It would be a choice. Yes, sir.
Is there any
So
way that if we needed to in the future, that it, where I'm going with this is that at some point in the future, and I'll just use myself for example. So I'm not here any longer, so I would remove it from my phone. But if that doesn't happen, is there any way that it can be blocked? Because there's probably things that we wouldn't want individuals that
Yeah.
weren't within the county to access.
Yep, exactly. So all communication is handled remains inside the Elevate system. Being that it's cloud-based, all that stuff is backed up. Like if you were to send a text message through the Elevate app on your phone, you would see it on the desktop app as well. It's backed up everywhere. But once you decide administratively to unassign that user, you reassign that phone number, right? You have some elected offices, so that number would remain the same for your new elected official. It would just be tied to a different person, and the outgoing would no longer have access to
Okay.
the application. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, no problem at all. So like I said, it is, a standard phone system. You can have a phone on your desk, but there's a couple different ways to communicate. And another one of those ways is through video conferencing. We're using Zoom right now. I know that you have access, or some folks have access to Microsoft Teams. So there's two different routes we can go with the Elevate system. It can live inside of Microsoft Teams, but since everyone wasn't using that from talking to each office, it didn't seem like the right solution to have to use Teams in order to use the phone. So I went with the standard Elevate, and that comes with its own video conferencing, and it's called Any Meeting, and it's very similar to your Zooms and your Teams and all that stuff, but each person with the license has the ability to send out meetings and attend meetings. So like this particular meeting could be housed within inside the Elevate system, and you'd no longer have to pay for like a Zoom, since it is an included part of the system. And we'd, of course, help you get all that set up and make it make sense if you decided to move forward with this.
And then could we record that like we do right now and then upload it to wherever we upload it to?
Absolutely. Not only that, but it does have some very gentle AI type stuff built into it, which is basically just it will pull a summary of the meeting and it can email that to specific individuals or everyone that attended with like some action items and just a recap of the whole meeting.
Nothing.
Yeah, anything with AI terrifies the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And that's why I said gentle AI, because it's not truly like a mind of its own. It's going to adapt to anything. It's just summarizing the meeting and sending that out, and that's it.
But I want to ask then, so when you say it summarizes, sends it out, but it doesn't send it out unless it's told to?
Correct. Yeah, you would set it up to say, I would like a meeting recap sent out to each individual or not, or maybe just the meeting organizer, however you would like that to look.
Okay.
Being that this is all cloud-based, it's very, very customizable, everything down to each individual users and how their office's phone tree looks. If you wanted to ring 10 seconds before it goes to an auto attendant, or if you have like a hunt group set up to where it rings these particular three phones, and then if they don't answer, then it can go to a different phone. Like all those things are very easily set up and managed without any additional cost.
Okay.
So in addition to those items, there is a web fax component with this too. So getting folks over to that web fax portal would be another very helpful item. You would no longer have to pay for fax lines. You don't have to have fax machines or fax boards on copiers. This is truly web-based, kind of a drag and drop files type of thing. It looks and feels like fax on the other end. They don't know any different, but you still maintain the ability to fax without additional cost outside the system.
So we wouldn't need a landline for that either then.
Correct.
Okay.
The backup and collaboration talks a little bit, is in reference to like some cloud storage that comes with the system as well. So if there were files, the agenda for this meeting or whatever that you worked on collaboratively, multiple folks would have access to that, and it could live in that cloud space so that you all could work on that simultaneously if you wanted. The team chat and SMS, right? So team chat means Lee could be at his desk and through the Elevate system, send a message to Christy. Not that you just beat on the wall and say, "Hey, Christy," but you'd be able to send her a message and say, "Hey, are you available right now? I got somebody asking this or that." So that's internal communication within the county for the offices using this. And you'd have like a presence indicator. If you had a meeting on your calendar, you would show red. If you've been away, yellow, green, if you're available, that kind of thing. So you have that ability to send interoffice messaging without actually having to pick up the phone. And then the SMS is truly text messaging from your business line. So if you had communications you needed to get out to the public, you'd be able to do kind of like a mass texting through this. You could also just, I think for elections, we talked a little bit about those volunteers and things. You'd be able to send secure texts through your business line instead of giving out your personal, so that you could kind of continue all those communications without, messing with your personal space.
Hang on a second, Andrew. I've got to ask
Yep.
you. Do we need anything, if we were to eliminate landlines or anything, like how does that affect what you do during, okay. Okay, go ahead. I'm just curious. Make sure that we weren't throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
There you go. Yeah, we gotta make sure everything's smooth as silk here, right? Contact center is not something that I'm offering in this. It's truly, more for call centers or something it's just a lot of that going on. If you needed to like whisper into a call and coach someone or something, that's not necessary and not quoted in the system here. But wanted to kind of run down everything that it can do. You would have access to all of these things based on the licensing I'm proposing. But again, each office can be a little more individual based on their needs. So I'll move on to the next page here now that you have kind of an overview. I won't read through each and every one of these things, but the increased productivity kind of talks about, that video conferencing and your ability to file share, screen share, and just communicate on the go. So that's a big increase in availability outside of what you have now with just the on-premise system. The reliability does, hinge on your internet connection, and we test that thoroughly ahead of time. We run a VoIP Scout test for like 7 to 10 business days, and it mimics high phone traffic just in the background. And then we get a nice big analysis report on whether or not your system will handle this, whether or not your internet will handle the system effectively. So that's always a good thing to do up front. But the reliability of the phone system is amazing because there's servers on the East and on the West Coast in order to ensure that uptime to keep all this connected. If there's some kind of earthquake or hurricane or something, you got that redundancy of East-West Coast. So helps keep this up and running for you. Simplified scaling and management talks about, those changes kind of that you mentioned earlier, Lee, So if you add folks, even if it's, let's say, I keep referring back to this, but election time, and you have folks that you want to be able to have on your system and using just your phone system for Elevate, you could add them for 1 month. Then they'd be able to communicate through the system only instead of their personal numbers, and then you could take them off there. I do that for like CPAs now that have the phone system. They bring on folks temporarily for tax season. They're able to add those lines for a couple of months and then take them away again. So it's really easy to scale the system if you add staff or something. Any questions thus far? Okay, I'll keep moving.
Guys, any questions?
No, I'm good so far.
Okay. So a lot of features included here. Just a few I'll mention. Things you're used to now, being able to transfer a call forwarding. Parking a call is nice. You can let another office know that somebody's parked on this line. They can grab it from any phone. Your call recording. Just being able to kind of set each phone the way you want to do it. But the music on hold is nice. It doesn't have to be music. You can also do like announcements. I've seen a lot of folks utilize that for, what's going on. You can record a new announcement for that week or for that month. Just kind of helps get some communication out while somebody's waiting to be transferred. Voicemail through this system is incredible. You not only get like the voicemail message on your phone, but you can have it set up to send you an email with the transcription of that voicemail and an audio file attached. So if somebody leaves that voicemail for Lee and it's something that, wasn't really yours to handle, you just forward that email on and say, hey, can you take care of this without having a bunch of the telephone back and forth stuff. And so each user would have access to their own voicemail box and how they set that up. Again, I mentioned some of those like resource lines like the lobby or other areas where it wasn't as necessary to have those features, and they could just be a phone to use for communication in and out of the office. So the team chat is pretty simple. We kind of talked through that already. The ability to inter-office message, web fax, again, online portal to take care of that. These aren't things that we're talking about today. I'll move past those. Again, that Elevate app is there for those that want to use it. No requirement. It is secure. You can log in and out as necessary. You can set parameters that at 5 o'clock, this doesn't ring through to my cell phone. So you don't have to be worried about receiving, work calls at too crazy late of hours. Going to be entirely up to you there. And then with the desktop app, it's going to look and feel just like the cell phone. So if somebody preferred to do things that way, they'd have all their messaging there. They'd have the ability to go into their address book and make calls internally, externally, and do that from, like I said, a headset or, Bluetooth headphones or something, however you prefer to communicate. Does the apps make sense? Anybody have questions about those specifically?
I won't be. Nope, I'm good.
All right. I feel like at this point, you're just like, all right, you're talking about a lot of stuff. How much is this going to cost us?
Well, now that
Again,
you
the
mention
online
it-
meetings. Go ahead.
I said, now that you mention it,
Yeah, right. So the online meetings, again, you have the ability to send out those, much like this meeting. You're able to do the file sharing and so on. Archiving is another really nice feature that's just included with the system. Again, this stuff doesn't add a lot of cost because it's cloud-based. So it's just included with the system. Archiving will keep track of, your call traffic and stuff for 30 days, and then it'll do a reset. But if you needed to refer back to something for one reason or another, you have that access there. And then we can tie into some systems, like pull your Outlook calendar. Some folks use it for like a sales system so that when someone calls, they can pull up their specific account, and then exactly who's calling, and you have a kind of a high level view of what might be going on with their account or something too. So can tie into some of those things as people call. You get a little bit of that information. And then kind of the most important piece here is that you have Gordon Flesh Company, you have myself, you have our team, the Elevate team. And I know this is confusing, but Elevate and Elevity are like two separate things within the company. Elevate is the phone system's name. Elevity is our IT team, and they do the help desk support and setup and everything for this system. So it is all handled internally. The system is one that we use ourselves and have had for about 4 years now. We've been using it and offering our clients for about 3. So you do have 24/7 coverage for anything from, hey, this is going on, that's weird, or I can't remember how to change my voicemail or slide a snow day up to the top because we can't make it to the offices today, or whatever the case may be, you have access to us 24/7. And those are folks right here in the Midwest for your standard business hours. And we partner with Elevate's team out of California, the manufacturer of the system, to help with those outside of hours stuff, but still nothing farmed out overseas. So talking to somebody in the US. All right. So we're going to get into the hardware and the financial stuff now. Does anybody have any questions before I do so?
Is this gonna be expensive enough that you guys are gonna want quotes for competitive pricing?
Well, at this point, it's below the threshold.
That's a good question.
Because you don't want him to tell you financials if you're gonna consider giving quotes. Just in fairness to the,
Well, my quote is my quote and you'll have it. So, but I guess if you're saying because it'll be accessible by others, then I understand completely.
Yeah.
that's your call. I just,
Yeah.
as a former contractor, I wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
I mean, do you want to discuss that, the threshold, or what you're kind of thinking there? We can save this if you
Joe,
want.
what do you think?
It's below the threshold.
I don't know anybody around here that does it. I'm not saying there isn't, I just don't know anybody that does it. To do this,
I don't either. So
I can't help but think that if Wisco would have done it, they'd have done it. And they did it. I mean, and that Wisco could do it. They would have
you
done
know
it.
somebody else?
I don't know anybody else, but it might not, it might behoove us to check if it might be able to get a cheaper deal. Because we are concerned about money, both of us.
Right. That's the reason we were doing it, is because we were looking to see if we could get lower monthly costs than what we're paying now.
And so you already know, are we getting a lower monthly cost? What
Well,
we're
if you
getting now?
combine the internet and the phone service, the answer would be yes. Because the internet alone is costing us well over $600 a month.
I'd like to know what the auditor's office thinks.
Well, and that's fine.
Christie, what do you think of this?
Well, we need to get all the office totals and. That phone notes for your office from there.
Would it make your job easier? Abby?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would, if I could submit, you can send out a request for bids. And they'll check us the way the state usually does it. You get more people that are statewide that will participate rather than
Seeing an
local.
RFP.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I want everybody to keep in mind, this is a local company.
I
This is here in
understand
Dallas.
that should be factored in, but it doesn't ever hurt to have more competition. Always improves the product.
Not necessarily, but okay.
Okay.
Maybe to be fair, we should check around. Not against this at all, but
No, this is a good proposal, but I think we need to be fair
For who?
by putting out an RFP to see if there's anybody else interested in doing this.
All right. Just keep in mind that you're gonna be spending money to do that. I'm just saying. I don't know where you're gonna put it if you don't put it in the newspaper and you don't put it on the radio. Where are you gonna put it? And you have to know what you're asking for. Clearly, I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah. And nor do I. And you say it's the local company.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, it was a bit of a process to be able to talk with each office and kind of put this all together. So definitely looking at some additional time commitments and once you figure out if there are other folks that can offer something similar to have them quoted as well. But I guess what I'm hearing is maybe I shouldn't put out the pricing in this particular meeting, but I could, send it to those on the board just so that you have it for the sake of, the first entry towards a potential RFP. Is that what you rather see happen?
Well, we do have it here in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it got printed out or handed
Yeah.
out or
Yeah.
distributed.
No, and I get where everybody's coming from, and I'm okay with that. I'm not sure how you're going to submit an RFP on something that frankly, we know nothing about. And what are the requirements of that RFP going to be? In other words, you submit a request for proposal. Do we require them to do everything that Gordon Flesh did? But we don't know everything that Gordon Flesh did in terms of, you see what I'm saying? In other words, there's a lot behind the scenes that the three of us are not aware of.
I don't.
Yeah,
think-
yeah, which brings me to, sir, how did you know to contact us?
Well, we do copy your business with you all now,
Uh-huh.
and just throughout our business reviews, annually, kind of checking in about things. Have just kind of asked about the phones.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
So I'm just, like I said, there's nothing wrong with submitting an RFP, absolutely, and getting the best deal we can for the taxpayers, absolutely. But we have to know what it is we're asking for. I can submit an RFP for a copier and say, okay, I want 25 copies a minute. I want to be able to do letter and legal. I want color. No speed less than 25 copies per minute. Document feeder. Do I need a sorter? Of course, we don't sort anymore. It's done internally. But my point is that I can do all of that because I know that. I don't know this. I don't know what to ask for. I mean, we have this in front of us. We can say, yeah, well, Andrew said from Gordon Flash, so let's, and we can do that. But we're gonna have to sit down and figure out how to do it, I guess is what I'm saying, because I don't know. Ashley probably does.
Kristen, do you feel you could do this in your office?
Hmm?
An RFP?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be for us to do, it'd be for
Right.
the people that are really going to be affected by this. It's up to you guys.
So what I'm asking is, what are you going to ask for in the RFP?
What do you guys want?
There you go. I'm right back to square one.
Okay, so it's obvious that you'd like to do this.
Well, I don't know that I want to spend this money. I'm not saying that. I'm not there. What I'm saying is that, because I still have questions that I was going to ask him. What I'm saying is that all of this, Andrew, no disrespect, all of this stuff that Andrew's presented, I would probably as an individual never use. Okay, so the phone that I've got right now that I talk on is, now I like the notion that we don't have a landline. I think in the long run that saves us money. But I do have questions. And it's our phone systems have gone out because the landlines have gone down. Our internet's gone out because so we lose that. And so we have to deal with that, and I understand that. But there are services on here that the auditor's office might very well use, or the assessor or your office. Okay. And I don't know anything about half that stuff that he talked about. But I'm sure that there is situations or integration that would really work for you guys that would be nice to have. About your office too, I don't know. But we certainly excuse me, don't need it here, but if we can save money by not, and then what does our Zoom cost us?
It's over 1,000 a year.
Huh?
It's over 1,000 a year.
So there's $100 a month, you know, that you save that you don't need. We can't get the guy that put the stuff in to come and help to do anything. You know, and what I heard Andrew say is that, you know, we're available, we're here. I know they, you know, I get it. We want to save everybody money and we have to. But I'm just afraid that not knowing what to put out, that we're going to get something different. Not necessarily better, but we're going to get something different. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to do it.
You know, I think we've been given a lot of information. And I'm sure it's gonna help if we do this. But I'd like a little more time to do some research and think about it.
We are meeting with all the department heads with budgets. This will be part of the budget. We can ask each one of the departments, if he's talked to them, what their take is on this. It'll be an
I
advantage.
think that's a good idea, Joe.
We're gonna see them, most of them this
Sure.
week.
Well, and I'm not suggesting that we jump on board today and buy it. That's not what I'm suggesting.
No, I mean.
I want to go back to the original question. If you want to submit an RFP, what are you going to ask for? Somebody has to know what the hell they're doing, and it isn't me.
I am not, that was an open door and I'm not.
I know.
gonna comment on that. So thank you very much. But wouldn't it be better, do what Joe said, go through the budget process, talk to the folks and see what our folks think.
Sure.
And then we'll worry about the RFP wordage. Okay? What do you think?
I appreciate him contacting us,
Absolutely.
and I think we need to talk to all the departments,
That's fine.
Yeah.
see what their take
Yeah.
is on it. Because I don't want to jump into something and find out down the road something didn't work with one of the departments.
Agreed. And again, no issue there. I just want to make sure that if we decide to move, not necessarily on this offer, but if we decide to move and we want to get other, you know, are you comparing apples to apples?
That's true.
And if you're not comparing apples to apples, then, you know, all bets are off. That's all I'm saying. And I know that there are a lot of different apples out there. Red ones and green ones and not so red ones and sweet ones and sour ones and whatnot. So,
So are we in agreement? We'd like a little more time before we decide.
sure.
Yes.
But I do have a question for Andrew, which I think will help me decide
Okay,
later on down the road.
okay.
If you're willing to answer the question, Andrew, I have a rather snotty one, so to speak. So.
Fire away, Lee. You're fine.
Well, here's my concern, as dumb as this sounds, and I guess because I'm old school. Landlines are landlines, and you can pretty much get, you know, I've got several phone companies that I can access and they can utilize our landline.
Sure.
Okay, so, and we've got several internet companies, so that's not particularly an issue either as far as that part of it goes. But what happens if Gordon Flesh goes away? Who steps in if it's not Acme Telephone Company stepping in to replace X, Y, and Z telephone company? Who steps into this and continues this, or do we have to go back then to square one and start over?
You very much do not have to go back to square one. So Gordon Flesh Company is the operating engine of this, but we are not the creator and manufacturer. There's a company called Intermedia that is the back end of all of this, right? They're the ones, like I mentioned, having the East Coast and West Coast server farm connectivity stuff, right? They created this system, back end this system, but they only offer it through vendors like ourselves. Like we even had to buy this system from a competitive vendor of ours in order to get it for ourselves and then be able to then offer it to our clients. So, but Gordon Flesh Company as a whole is a $220 million company in 7 states with 650 employees. We're not going anywhere. We like you mentioned, we have a very local presence right in the town of Fairfield and throughout eastern Iowa and so on. But we're not going anywhere. And this is would be a 36-month agreement that we would stand behind. And then of course you'd have the ability to make whatever changes or something at that point as well beyond that contract.
Yeah, it was just,
No.
yeah.
Andrew,
So
thank you very
Yeah.
much. We just need a little more time.
Oh yeah, I didn't expect any decision to be made today. I just
Okay.
wanted to be available for questions now that you've seen kind of the setup of the system and how the pricing works, because there is some upfront cost and then there's an ongoing monthly, which again includes all of your service and supports the equipment itself and just kind of revamping everything for everybody with new equipment too. So as you go around and talk to each one of those departments, similarly to how I did, you can verify with them the amount of lines they were looking for. Some folks needed wireless phones, so I took that into account. Some are mounted on walls, so on and so forth. And then again, those resource lines are more inexpensive because they're not tied to a user with the voicemail and the texting and the virtual meeting space. They're just a phone on a wall or something like in the lobby. So lots was discovered throughout, and this, like I said, is very easy to pivot one way or another, add more, take some away. But if you start getting some more quotes and you need help putting things apples to apples, I can certainly assist with that.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Yep.
one other thing, can you return the host?
Yes. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that.
You click on the supervisor's name, it should be an option to make host or return host or whatever it says.
You said on the supervisor's name.
Mhm.
Host tools. Hmm. Where would the host name be located?
I don't know what it looks like on the other side, but
Okay.
when I gave you host, I had to go to the participants and click on your name and then it became an option.
Okay. And then which one would be the supervisors? I'm not seeing the supervisor's name.
Jefferson County Supervisors.
It does. Okay, we'll say that. Ah, there we go. And make host. Change. How about now?
Perfect, thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks for your patience with me. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
If you would have just shut this off, that wouldn't have given you time back.
It killed it.
Oh, okay.
Have to start over.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda, item 2, is to acknowledge the minutes from January 6th.
So moved.
How about January 12th?
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Wow. So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next item is to meet with the courthouse maintenance supervisor. I received a phone call last night about 6 o'clock. He will not be here this week again.
Okay.
He still has a little further to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Getting better, I hope.
Yeah. So moving on past that, meet with the county engineer. That's
Good.
you.
Yes, it is. Good morning, supervisors. Our Libertyville Road project and the Grass Tree Bridge project both go to bid on Wednesday. So we should have an idea of who the successful bidder is by hopefully this time next week. Or shortly thereafter. I went and spoke with the Libertyville City Council Tuesday night. They were very pleasant and excited about the project. So I'm sure they won't be as excited midsummer when the road's closed again, but the council was understanding. The residents on Libertyville Road, maybe not so much, but we're gonna have the road closed for through traffic. but we will have flaggers set up to control local traffic, so people that live on the road will be able to get in and out. Flagger setup's more for safety for the traveling public as well as the people doing work.
So, how long do you think the project, given, I mean, obviously.
It's gonna be a 3-month project,
Oh, okay.
probably 60, 90 work days.
For the bridge too.
The Grass Tree Bridge will probably, what was the last one we did? It's roughly the same size as the one we did on Cedar Creek over by, or on Cedar Avenue over by Batavia. I think they were able to start that one in late spring, and they were opened back up in July on that one. It's only, it's 100-foot bridge, but there's quite a bit of site work that needs to be done with it, because it has federal money, so the slopes have to be flattened, and there's a lot of dirt work to get involved in getting that up to federal compliance. So it's not just the structure on that, it's also the surrounding area that will take
Is
some
the
time.
dirt there available, or are you gonna have to haul in dirt?
They will have to haul in dirt.
Really?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of slope flattening to do. And we had to acquire a little bit of right of way for that project, but it wasn't a huge amount. Less than an acre all told. It was just narrow strips. See, it's kind of chilly, so we're not out doing any ditch work or pipe work this week. We're repairing things in the shop. We'll get back out and do road work. Blade guys are out and about, but we're not out trying to bust equipment that we'd have to go fix. And I heard back from Representative Miller Meek's office late Friday on the status of the 110th Avenue Community Improvement Grant. That was approved in the House last week. They hope the Senate will approve it this week. We'll know more as things progress, but at least it's back in the position where it's moving again.
So, if the Senate approves it, this project would be a year out from this coming construction season.
At least.
Okay.
The last one took 18 months to get the grant paperwork from the time it was approved. It's a slow process. So
But once we know that, then we can inform them, we're not gonna do 125th or anything at this point, if we know we're getting the grant, is that?
that's. Yeah. Hopefully we'll have at least a good handle on where that's coming through by the time the 5-year program needs to be submitted to you guys in April.
Okay.
I've been working on that and bouncing around money, and I've got everything pretty well set where it needs to be, and we'll see what happens with that one. That's really about all I have.
Well, the next item on the agenda is discuss consider longevity step increase for Kenneth Crump from the Secretary of Roads Department.
Yeah, he's been hanging around with us for quite a while. I think this is his next nickel.
How long about in there?
Boy, this 25 years?
Wow.
20
Cindy,
or 25
he and Tom, the old men on the block? How they make it?
for longevity,
Yeah.
I believe, and Jess.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah.
Good.
But they're all, I think I looked at it, our average longevity is 9 years, but we've got myself, Melissa, and we've got 6 guys who've got less than 5 years. So that brings the average down. Most of our guys are in the 15 to 25 year range.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion approved. Motion second. All in favor?
All right.
I,
Motion passed.
I work for your city.
Okay.
What do you say?
Sorry, you get quite a, foresight.
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah.
Lee needs to sign something.
I know, Bill and Terry and Dwight were dinosaurs,
Yeah.
and I don't mean that disrespectfully. No.
Next item on the agenda is to meet with the ambulance director.
Hi.
Nice,
How are
Wayne.
you?
I really don't have a lot to report. I hate to say the same thing over and over again, but we're kind of in a holding pattern for everything. 51 is up in Des Moines. I believe they were in the process of ordering everything they needed for the suspension. I haven't heard anything back since last week. That was the last thing I've heard. Still waiting on information for the medical director change. We're waiting to get information for the
Medical
malpractice insurance. So he's doing some things on his end and not ICAP, but whoever they work with for that particular piece of it, they're working together. So hopefully I'll have some information soon. Yeah, that's about all I've got.
Do either of you have any questions for Josh?
I just wondered what, I guess I don't know what the delay is on our end as far as the malpractice insurance.
When I talked to them, they were really uncertain as to what was needed. The closest comparison they had was Dr. Curtis, but he also shares some with the hospital. So it's a little bit different package, I guess, as far as insurance goes. Dr. Marino carried her own. So they didn't have any history or anything on as far as what she had. So they're kind of coming at this fresh with a complete outsider. So it's just taking them a little bit of time and then trying to figure out if what Dr. Lissy currently has will extend or transfer into his medical director role here. So they're just trying to put all the pieces together. It's just an unusual circumstance for them, I think. So,
Thank you, Josh.
yeah, anything else?
Unless you brought food, no.
I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
Don't you say that every time?
No. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
The
Thank
next
you.
item is to meet with Jerry Leonard to discuss and consider office rent.
Hi, Jerry.
Hey, morning.
Morning, Jerry.
Hey, morning, Susan.
Morning.
Wait, morning. I just
Just hop in there.
Okay.
Just take a dive.
It's been a little while since I talked to Ed, but the last time we had any conversation about it was that Ed, if I remember Ed right, you correct me if I'm wrong, that the supervisors would present the lease to me, and I guess I hadn't heard nothing, seen nothing, so I thought I'd better come in. I know we talked about this in October, but kind of got it pushed back. Then it got pushed back into January, and I guess I thought, well, it's my duty to visit with y'all again about it. So I just thought I'd come in this morning and see where we're at as far as if you got a final draft that I can get my hands on to review and we can start paying that rent you want me to.
I have not seen anything yet from the attorney's office dealing with this lease. Has the other two?
No, I've not.
I have at the start of it, or after the meeting started today, I forwarded the most recent update of what it was and set it to, I sent a copy to each of your mailboxes in Word so that it's available. And I set it to, the Board of Health through the county sanitarian. And I'm left it in blank with $100 nunc pro tunc, which is a $5 Latin word for now or then, effective on November the 1st. And the sole address I have is county engineer offices. And that can be made more specific, but that's where it is right now. I did print multiple copies this morning at 6:30, but my 6:30 brain did not tell me to bring them. They're sitting in my copier at home, and I apologize.
So November 1st, is that,
That was the date originally. I
Okay.
think you folks discussed that we were shooting for. And I just put in $100, but as I informed Mr. Leonard earlier, my client is the Board of Supervisors in Jefferson County. And so I am not in any way representing him. I can, the current draft is forwardable by you folks if you wish to forward it. Have it marked up by his counsel and negotiated over. I apologize for not getting that before this morning.
but it would be, I'd have to look at it, but it would be an agreement between him and us. The Board of Health would not be involved in it.
I had it between, I put it between the county and the Board of Health as its representative, as the sanitarian. But yeah,
But it's not between us. That's my point. The point is it's between us and Leonard Enterprises LLC.
I did not mention the corporate name. I left it blank there for how it was going to be done. Because I had not been aware of a resolution
Right.
by the board, how you
Well, there-
wanted to be defined.
Yeah, there hasn't been as far as that part goes, but it would be, at least from my perspective, the other two may have a different perspective, but from my perspective, the agreement is between us and Leonard Enterprises, and the Board of Health is not a player in it, because they don't own the building. And so it would be an office expense on Leonard Enterprises' part, and how he incorporates that. But I mean, that's from a legal perspective, that's what I'm looking at is between A and B, and C is not in it.
And I specified that he was an independent, the sanitarian was an independent contractor. And put in language to that effect, and it can be that way. And my mention of the Board of Health was that you're not renting it to him for any reason except that he is the county sanitarian and put in for 3 years, so it goes through 2028. And there's provision for 30-day right of cancellation of either party upon notice to the other.
Well, I'd like to use your words, an opportunity to mark it up, for you to mark it up. I mean, we can forward it to him, but I'd like to look at it.
Oh, I think it's proved that we look at.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have it now, and so maybe we should be able to look at it and put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay, so I can forward it, or you chair.
Why don't you forward?
Okay, so I'll just forward
Okay.
to the.
You guys take a look at it first, get
Yeah.
it the way you really want it. So then I can get it to my legal counsel and get
Okay.
it taken care of.
Thank you.
Abby, so we can put that on the agenda for you. And we should. Do you think you'll be able to look at that and so we can deal with this next week?
Thanks, Jerry.
Yep.
Thanks, Billy. Bye.
Wait a minute, Jerry. Oh,
One more. We got one more thing, Jerry.
That was the only thing that made it on the agenda, Lee.
The next item on the agenda is to discuss and consider contractors meeting with environmental health at the county engineer's office.
Yeah.
So, my take had been, and still is, that I think that's up to Dwayne.
Yeah, so Dwayne has said, yeah, it's fine. The only day that they really obligated is that first Monday of the month. You go in and bring the guys in and have their kind of safety meeting that's required to their department.
Well, if we're gonna have a meeting, just coordinate it with Dwayne, so he doesn't have something scheduled there.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted you guys to be aware of it again. If you had some questions, I could get them answered for you. I think it'd be a vital importance that we have one-on-one conversations with the people that's going to affect most. We had just at the end of the construction season, we had about 4 new individuals step forward for bonding, and that they were all CWAP certified. And it was kind of interesting because I was like, first of all, I was like, well, why is this all happening right now? I mean, we're in the long phase here, the construction season. Why would these guys be coming to town? And so I always try to source different information so you can get your own information that you really need to know. And the one individual was the former sanitarian gave this guy 2 years at a time of transfer to fix his system. And so that was over, expired by about a year, but I just happened to be at his neighbor's house putting in a system. Or I wasn't, excuse me, I was there expecting it. And I get a call from a contractor from just east of Riverside telling me that he's got this job. And I was like, and he wanted bonded. So I was like, well, let me go out there and do my pre-site evaluation, see where it's at. And I'll make this story quicker. I asked the guy, so how did you find this guy? And he said, oh, I found him off of Angie's List. And I thought, does everybody know what that is?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
Yeah. So I thought that was just a little strange that we'd have local residents, which I've looked at Angie's List, but I've never really called anybody on it. And
I called Joe.
oh, you called on Joe. It's okay.
I wasn't on Angie's list, so I'm safe.
Okay. Maybe that was the.
But so I thought that was kind of peculiar about how that all happened. But I mean, so I asked the guy, did you see on Angie's List that he's CWAP certified? And he didn't even know what that was. So I explained it to him. But so he felt more comfortable that he knew that this guy had taken this class, passed the test. Then the other case was a gentleman by the name of Paul Wiedemeyer. Again, he's from out of state. I've never met Paul. We've just had the interaction. I did call him the other day, letting him know that, hey, I think the system is great. I asked him if he had any questions. So if I did, I could answer them easily for him. But so I asked him how he found this contractor. And he basically implied that, yeah, I found him off the internet. Those guys were from Johnson County. So when those guys were down here, I actually asked them too to kind of figure out again, what's got you guys down here? They kind of told me, yeah, the guy probably found us off the internet. Things are slowing down. We wanted to get down here. They're also CWAP certified. So I don't want to not give our local contractors that opportunity to understand what it is, first of all, before we go much further with it, and then give them time to soak it in. I don't want to be alleged that I'm making them feel unlevel throwing the play or put in the system.
So those two that come down, did they submit bonds? But they bonded?
Oh, yeah.
Here?
Yeah. They were very cooperative about that. I've yet to have anybody tell me they're bonded in another county. I don't need to be down in your county. That usually ends the conversation pretty quick.
So, from my perspective is, if you give Dwayne whatever his schedule is, if he's okay with it, then.
I just did.
Dwayne's on.
We're discussing throwing a party at your office, Dwayne.
Well, as long as you bring the beer, that's fine, Lee.
Okay.
Oh, now
You're gonna cook the turkey.
About that, we have no issue with him having a meeting in the back room. And honestly, any of the county departments that may need it, as long as we're not using it, and they're not gonna make a big bunch of noise, we're fine with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Dwayne.
does and also send out kind of, a preemptive letter to them all and then ask for an RSVP. So I can have an idea. There may be 10, there might be 5, there might be 1. I am also going to invite the ones that are already working in the county that are RSC lots or. So again, they have that opportunity to come. And you guys are welcome to come too also, because I'll have a representative there from the IWOWA organization. They actually put on the class. They actually do the testing. They keep track of all the registrations, the credit hours that the guys will have to do after they're certified. So it's kind of a way to, I guess, I think keeping people in the right lanes, all of us,
Are you gonna offer that class here then for them, or are they gonna have to travel away?
Well, see, and I'm glad you brought that up, Joe. Because see, this is not something we're going to start next week, next month. It's actually pushed clear back out into next year. They only have it class about 2 times a year, and it's in different sides of the state. So I've been again talking to the people, and they had it up like around Maquoketa last year or this year, the 25. So they're willing to come down here to Southeast Iowa and have it at a location here. And then they'd probably go like up into West Iowa next year for the second class of the year. So it's not a class they'll offer all the time. But that's my intent, to make sure that they don't have to travel very far. And then after that, it's all just on the computer.
I don't have an issue with this, do you?
No, Dwayne's good with it.
Dwayne's good, that's all it takes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, but
I didn't see that on the agenda. Sorry, out the door.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Discuss, consider appointing Tom Glish to the Compensation Commission.
I reached out to Tom. We've got one other position filled. I reached out to Tom as a city property owner. And he agreed to sit on the board, so I would to appoint Tom Glish to the Compensation Commission.
I second that motion. All those in favor? signify by saying
Aye. We sent out a letter.
Discuss and consider closing the courthouse 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on February 25th for a safety training. This came out of the safety meeting several times ago,
Yeah.
and I think I really think it's needed for everybody to hear the same thing at the same time.
I make motion to through closing from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on February 25th for training.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Next item, item 4, or labeled item 4, discuss and consider renewal of services with Anderson, Alarka and Company, PC.
So this is 3-year renewal, right?
Yes.
The single audit is required, okay. Well, not that I'm particularly excited about the price, but at least the price was relatively stable.
Compared to what other counties pay, we have a portal that we talked about other counties.
Right.
This is decent.
Yeah.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve, what's the terminology, renewal with Anderson Larkin for fiscal years ending 6/30/26, 6/30/27, and 6/30/28 for 25,000, 25,500, and 26,000 respectively.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are now down to make committee reports, and I would note that it's 9:34.
Is it?
Please not talk about why.
Is that daylight savings time or what?
No.
No, say, so if it was daylight savings time, we would spring ahead, so it'd be 10:30. Just saying.
Oh, dear.
I think. On occasion, I do. Sorry. Rust board meeting, our director was not there. They were not back from their foray out into the Pacific Ocean and Puerto Vallarta, is that how you say that? So we did sign an agreement with Loiza County for environmental health and zoning. We increased it by about $5,600 for the year. And he being Bruce is in the process of developing a budget. There's no increase in the amount that we contribute, so it's remained steady at 9,500. And then I did spend an hour with Ellis Cujo at KBIZ on Thursday the 15th. Had to apologize to him after our get together for co-opting his microphone for so much, but he asked a question about budgets and that just, yeah, just expanded the conversation, so to speak.
I can't imagine you found something to talk about.
Yeah, well,
Thank you. Larry.
he did invite you and Joe. And I told him I would work very hard at that. Even maybe just bringing you over with me.
We'd have to have it on the agenda.
Well, I'm sure, I understand that. But you could go by yourself and not be on the agenda.
I depend on AJ to report.
Okay, moving on. Jerry Committee's to report, Joe.
Yes, I had Regional Housing Trust Fund meeting Thursday night in Iowa. And they talked about budget, different things. There's some loans they had made that didn't get paid back because people had passed away and the properties got transferred. For some reason, somebody didn't catch it that they had loaned them some money, so we had to take care of that action stuff. And then Friday morning, there's a new, wine store in Fairfield on the square called Vino del Mondo. It's the chamber had a ribbon cutting ceremony Friday morning, and so I went to that, and it's Ken Malloy opening a wine venue on the west side of the square. Very nice and was well attended.
Did you invite him?
Yes,
Did you?
he's got some rooms in there that you can go in with a group and sit and drink wine. I guess since he sells it, he can.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
Drink on it, too.
I've never been a connoisseur of fine wine.
Well, I haven't either, but he guaranteed me he could get some that I would like. So I took home a bottle and we'll see.
So I want to ask you a question about Regional Housing Trust Fund, and I have the same concerns with Ready Loan. Coming out of Area 15, there's a lot of loans that are made that, and I don't know as board members whether there's anything necessarily that we can do about it other than bring it up. I've had discussions in Ready Loan. And I used to, like Susie used to sit on the Regional Housing Trust Fund. But it doesn't seem to me that they pay a lot of attention or do a lot of follow-up to see what's going on these loans. In other words, I understand somebody passes, but I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I think that we've got to be better. Just because it's not directly linked to county dollars and money, we are providing money through our contributions, per capita and that sort of thing. We've loaned lots of money on Ready Loan and the businesses have gone belly up. And part of the problem is the state and federal government, the money that they appropriate for that because they force you to loan it. And then you start loaning it in areas maybe that wasn't so. So I don't know what the answer is, Joe, but
Well, they have a lien on it, and is it the responsibility of the lawyers when they're transferring this property to somebody else to do a lien search or not?
Well,
Apparently, they're not doing it according to what.
so my take on that is we go after the lawyer.
Well, yeah, but it takes money to do that, and it's
It's
not big, it's not a big amount.
Right, but where I'm at on this is I realize that's it. See, that's the thought process. It's not that big amount, but all of those amounts add up.
Mhm.
And the reality of it is that, look, if you own a property that Susie have a lien against, she's gonna make doggone sure that she gets her pound of flesh, as she should.
Mhm.
In other words, she's entitled to whatever, whether we're the first mortgage holder, the second mortgage holder. And I understand under the law, if the amount owed to the first mortgage holder exceeds, then we get left out of the fold. But the fact that we don't know what's going on. And I don't know how these properties get transferred if there's a lien against them. Where is the fail safe?
That's what we don't understand down
But
there.
that's what their responsibility is to find out where the fail safe is. Not just to bring it back to the board and say, well, we lost money on this one because it got transferred. That's not an answer.
Well, if I remember right, since 2011, they've only had 3 properties. The other night, there was 5 properties because he had started doing some checking and searching. And it wasn't a great amount, 5 different properties, it was like $50,000. So it was small amounts. You're gonna spend way more in attorney fees than what you're gonna get back. So there again, somebody needs to be responsible
And they're the ones that are in charge, is my point.
So what you're saying is regional housing
Yes,
needs to do a better job.
absolutely. And they need to be called on. And so does Ready Loan, and I call them. This is unacceptable because it's federal and state dollars.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the dynamic, and that 50,000, if you think about it, that could go to 4 other people, or 5
Yes.
people or whatever,
that was.
I think Joe's well aware of that.
Right.
Yes. So.
It just seems like it's happening more and more, and that's not an indictment of you or any of the board members. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I have no idea who the loans are, he brings them before us.
Right. But
So,
they're the ones that approve they do all the legwork and then they bring the loans to the board to approve.
Mhm.
But they do all the legwork. They're supposed to do all the follow-up. They're supposed to stay on top of that.
mhm. There's a big one pending right now on an outcome. This Agassi Historic Lofts in Atumwa, which,
Yeah, that's Ed and.
It's the old Agassi
Jim
School.
Denver.
where's that at?
The old Agassi School.
It's on Milner, I think.
Where's Milner? What part of
It's on the
Atumwa?
south side of Tumwa,
Okay, good now.
just south, 7 blocks of the old.
They've been denied twice, I think, for
Yeah.
tax credits, or maybe 3, but at least twice for tax credits. So they're,
They're in the
Yeah.
third time around, I guess, yes. So it's.
so we helped with Loudon Lofts.
Yes.
I can't remember, I think maybe the total, all of them became $100,000 and $250,000 installments. So we've been involved in that kind of thing. We've been involved in Habitat for Humanity, as far as that part goes too. I think we've got it used to be, I don't know what it is now, but it used to be a flat 7,500 that we would contribute to Habitat for Humanity. And those systems of, those are grants. But anyway, I digress.
And it's the same investment firm that done Loudon Lofts that's doing this Agassi.
Yes.
So. So that's all I've got.
Okay, I did attend the Libertyville council meeting on Tuesday night. They were very receptive. They asked Dwayne a lot of really good questions. And it was nice seeing some of the folks that I used to work with sitting on board at Libertyville, so. That went well. What else? I met with a supervisor on Wednesday late from another county just to visit about things. What else do I have here? At 5 o'clock on Thursday, met with Brett and company at the law center. We were looking at the preliminaries for the budget they want to put forward and discuss that.
Who?
Brett,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
emergency, gotcha,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, it was a very nice meeting. Well, a lot of good folks there. The sheriff didn't bring donuts, so you know, you do.
It's cookies.
He had cookies, that's right, he did.
Probably would have been vegetarian donuts.
You know, there was a gentleman there that ate the cookies. Two of them.
Was it state park?
No,
Oh.
Did that same person take home the whole box of cookies that was left?
that I don't know. At any rate, we're on to, thank you for that. We're on to, public comments. Bart, you have any public comments?
I do not.
Any, no public comments? Zoom, any public comments? Lee, I can't believe you don't have a comment.
Did you see this, Lee?
I did not.
Oh, sorry.
No, the only thing I have is it's really not a public comment. As far as that part of go, gee, Merry Christmas. The hell did you buy?
All the things.
We're gonna read through that cuss jar, Abby, okay?
When you see those, you'll say the same thing.
No,
Is it the ICAP money?
It is.
yeah,
Oh,
well, not only that, it's the ARPA funds from the.
oh, yeah, that's right.
So, whatever you-
Do I feel better? No, but at least an explanation. So you want a motion to allow claims and approved reports in the amount of, are you ready for this?
Yeah,
$880,035.67. I was okay with this, everything except the 67 cents. That really shook me.
I could see that.
So moved.
You're second. I made the motion.
All right, then my second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. We're gonna take a little bit of a break. At 10:30, we're gonna start our budget work session.
Okay.